All right, everybody. So out here just doing my walk, hanging out, trying to get that exercise in. So like I said, very important to get exercise, get that movement going. Definitely helps with your mental health and brings you up. Doesn't matter if you have a mental illness or not. Take the time, do some physical activity. But today, I want to breach the subject of TMS. That is transcranial magnetic stimulation. Google it. It's a fantastic thing. And here's why I bring this up today. There are 4 key points to TMS. I'll go through them one at a time. The first one is the effectiveness. And this, to me, is one of the biggest parts of TMS, why it's so awesome. So all the pills out there, they're about 30% effective. That's pretty typical, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the limits that we have with science and medicine right now. And 30%, like I said, it's not bad. What that means is that you may have to go through 3 different types of medications on average to find the right one. And again, that's okay. Medications have a place. TMS is somewhere between 60 and 80% effective. So it's at least twice as effective. And let me explain what TMS is real quick. So TMS is just magnets, electromagnets. That's it. Nothing goes inside of you. Nothing breaches you. You're not getting electrocuted like ECT, which, by the way, has its place too. I'm not downing ECT. But the TMS is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Like I said, at least twice as effective as all those pills out there. And moreover, out of that 60 to 80% that are affected by TMS, about 40% of them are healed, are completely good. And what that means is for 5 years, no symptoms. That is amazing. There's not a pill on earth that can claim that. So yes, this TMS thing is more effective and can even cure you of your mental illness. Now you might start wondering, well, why don't we put that out there? Why don't we have more doctors prescribing this? You know, I don't know. There's probably a million different theories on why this, why that. But what I'm gonna say is, push that aside and look at this TMS. See if you can do it. Get into it. I tried TMS. It didn't work on me, so I'm in that 20 to 40% range. But I'm still going to preach it because it is an amazing treatment. All right, guys, we're going to start on the next subject in just a moment. Thanks. All right, time to move on to the next point of TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. Real quick, I just wanted to say, there are people that are not going to be affected by TMS. I'm one of them, but I still keep preaching it. It is that important. The next one I'm going to make is kind of a short one. How many pills have you taken and it has caused some ridiculous side effect, like weight gain or loss of sexual desire or erection, what's it called, dysfunction, down there. There's a lot of those bad things that happen, memory loss or inability for cognitive ability. There's a ton of things out there that can happen when you take these medications. Again, I want to be very clear. Medication has its places. There's no doubt about it. Like me, I can't do anything with TMS, so I'm kind of limited to just my medications and my therapy. So keep that in mind. But the next point I want to make is its safety. We have all these side effects with these pills, and also with those pills, guess what? Somebody that their way of unaliving themselves is gonna be through medication overdose. And there's millions and millions of people that overdose on these medications that they're given every year. Overdoses can be very minor, maybe have some stiff muscles, maybe some delirium, or they can be major, like seizures or death. Yeah, we don't want that for you. So TMS is a great way to overcome that because there are no pills to take after the fact. You can't overdose on TMS. And it's extraordinarily safe. And pardon me, I'm kind of stepping over some duck poo. And oh, by the way, it's really hot out here, so I may be listening just a bit. It's extremely safe. The worst side effect that you can have is probably just a little headache, just a little bit of a headache. And while you're doing it, you're not under anesthesia at all. You're awake and you're having it. Again, it's just a magnet placed near your head. Sometimes it feels like a tapping on your head. Again, that's it. Tap your head like that. That's what it feels like. It's not a big deal. I went through, I think the number was like 1,000 or 10,000 taps on my head over a week's time for the TMS. It was nothing, I promise you. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do, so definitely don't be afraid of it. Again, tap your head, that's the worst thing. Now, if you are prone to seizures, that may be an issue. Also, I'm not sure about this, but I think you have to do an MRI beforehand, so obviously metal in the body may be also a limiting factor. MRIs are kind of scary, but this one's kind of short, I think. I don't know, I'm not an MRI expert, but I did probably a dozen MRIs. Now I was in a special case. I was in a study at a hospital down south. It wasn't bad. I think I remember one point, I got a little anxious, but it's not bad. Hang in there, do that thing. Do the next step. Maybe this next step is TMS. Whatever it is, come along with me on this journey. We can do it together. If you have any questions or I'm not saying things right, please comment below. Tell me about it. I read every single comment as of right now, and I only want the best for you. So come on, we'll figure this out together. Well, as I said just a moment ago, it's hot. I think it feels like 105 or something like that. That's out in the sun. I'm in the shade, which is much nicer right now. That sun's coming up. So I want to make a couple points. I was talking about how medications have their place, and if one doesn't work for you, keep going. I know I've been through, I think 8 or 9 medications, something like that, and I had major reactions to 3 of them. One of them I had what's called tachycardia. That's where your heart goes too fast, and then it gets all discombobulated, and then you just have no blood flow. It can kill you. So if you do have that, go to the emergency room. The second one is, let's see, the trazodone, which is to help me sleep. We're still working the kinks out on this one, so I don't want to get into too much detail, but sometimes I had kind of manic episode. I'm not manic, I'm not bipolar or anything, but it felt like it might have been manic or somewhere along the lines of that. I talked to my therapist about that today, and he was telling me, yeah, probably not mania, just lack of sleep, and then you get that second wind, and then the adrenaline and everything else. And so you talk faster and you have energy even after 3 or 0 hours of sleep, which that's one of my problems, but I'm working on it. It's just another thing, another hurdle that I need to get over and that I'm working very hard on. The last one, I'm not going to say which one, but one of the medications caused me a major reaction. It was a psychotic episode. So that was, in all cases, it was 24 hours about that I was not myself. I don't remember some of it I do remember, but it was a major reaction, and we all have those. Sometimes you gotta just find something else that works, but don't give up. That's not the end. Please call your doctor, call them that day, call them that hour when you find out that there's some sort of bad reaction. And sometimes, I know for me, I don't really figure it out until like a week, a month, or 6 months later, whatever it is. Whenever you figure it out, whenever you say, man, that was a bad reaction, that's when you tell them. Don't wait. Tell them right away. Call them, leave a message, email them, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you get that point across to your doctor so they can tell you what to do. And I promise you, I'm no doctor, but I promise you that the doctors know way more than we do. And there is a place for them because they've been to school. They know what's going on. And that's a very good point to make, that, listen, leave your doctors in control. Don't try and self-diagnose. Just say the symptoms, say the facts. Don't say, I think I'm depressed. Well, okay, what are your symptoms? And then they'll look at the symptoms line by line, because there are physical symptoms with every type of mental illness. So let them do their job. The next point I want to make about TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, definitely Google it, look into it. It's an amazing thing. Is its cost. So pretty much every insurance company, Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, almost everywhere, almost every insurance out there covers it. It's a lot cheaper than medications, because one 5-day session of TMS, which costs about $1,000. Again, markets, pricing may vary, but it's about $1,000. Can last a year, 5 years, the rest of your life. Well, that's a lot cheaper than medications. Now, in some instances, it's more expensive. Okay, well then you do it, you see if it works or not, And then if it doesn't, if it's more costly for you, don't do it anymore. It really is that simple. But remember all the other things we already talked about. It's more effective and it's safer than medications. And I'm not even done yet. I still have 2 more points. We'll move on to that in just a moment. All right, so we know that TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, is cheaper, safer, and more effective. This last point is actually 2 points in one. First one is it's faster. So TMS, there's several different protocols. So that means there's several different ways to apply it. The one that I did is a 5-day session. Now mine was 5 days of TMS with 5 days of very intense therapy, also called an IOP, intensive outpatient. So it was 8 hours a day, very intense, very difficult to get through. By the end of that 8 hours a day, I was annihilated. I was tired, beat, my body physically couldn't do anymore. Even getting into the water at the pool, at the hotel I was staying at, was difficult to get my butt up and walk down there. So the point is that in 5 days, you could have healing. And this is almost instantaneous because it's faster. On the first 2 days, you start to feel a difference. Some people have a little dip after the first couple of days of doing it. And some people at the end, most people at the end of the 5 days, they're good to go. They're ready to join the world again. And this works on pretty much every mental illness out there. There's 2 I know that it doesn't work on, as far as my research goes, is bipolar and schizophrenia. And that's just because it's a little deeper in the brain. The area for depression is about this big. It's tiny. That's what the MRI is for, so they can direct those magnetic waves to go through. Which, by the way, magnetic waves, when they go through a brain like that, they cause a little bit of electricity to move. That's called inductance. Yeah, it's bypassed. I know about all that. So anyways, it's faster within 5 days. Now, why is that important? Why is that such a big deal? Medications take 4 to 8 weeks to kick in. That's a very long time to wait for something to come, especially when you're already on your last leg, you're giving up, you're tired, you're suicidal, whatever it is. So people that go to these behavioral health units, psych ward, whatever you want to call it, they're on average about 6 days, 5 to 6 days, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And then they get some pills thrown at them, and then they have to wait for another, 3 to 7 weeks living in the living hell that they were already in that caused them to be suicidal. That to me is just moronic. That doesn't make any sense at all. But TMS, 5 days. 5 days, guess what? It's less than 6, the national average for people in a behavioral health unit. There's some implications to the Baker's Act there and how we can implement that. I'm not saying anything either way. I'm just saying, hey, we may have an opportunity there. But it is faster. So instead of going to the behavioral health unit, getting kicked out after 5 or 6 days, and then having another 3 to 7 weeks of hell, you walk into behavioral health unit, your mind's messed up, things aren't right. We all know it's just chemicals, electrocution, and therapy and all that stuff. But if you could walk out in 5 days and be at the point where you're not suicidal, where you're not in this full-on depression, where you're not having this bipolar episode. Well, like I said, bipolar doesn't work yet. That's a different conversation. But whatever it is, think about that. How much help can we do the whole world, our whole country, if we had a solution that worked in 5 days? So we don't have people staying in hospitals for weeks, months, years. Somebody feels a little bit down, so they go get TMS, pay the $1,000. Next thing you know, they're good to go. This is our technology working for us. This is our brains that are making a difference for the whole country, for us, for everybody at any stage. And this is preventative medicine too. Think about it. Somebody's in therapy and they say something like, I just don't want to live anymore. Bam! Put them in a TMS machine. I mean, obviously they got to agree and make sure it works for them. Why aren't we using this as a first line of help instead of a last line? Everybody has their own theories. I'm not going to get into mine. Well, to be honest with you, I don't care, because my job is to try and help other people like you and your friends and family to come out better, to do things better, just like I'm doing for myself right now. I'm walking, I'm going to therapy, I'm taking the medications. I did the TMS. I eat good. Well, That's not so true. I love McDonald's. But I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do. And I didn't have anybody that would tell me things like this, that would come across and say, listen, you're not doing it all wrong, but you can do it better. Let's think of our next steps. So maybe your next step is TMS. And for God's sakes, don't stop taking your medication. That is such an easy one. I don't care what stage of depression you're in. If you can get up to pee, guess where you pee? In the bathroom. Guess where your pills are? In the freaking bathroom. You can take your medications. Just keep going. Don't stop. Take the medications. And the last line is make sure you go to therapy. Therapy should be available to everybody, and it really is. I haven't paid for my therapy in 3 years. And no, I don't have a bill running up. My balance is zero. There are ways to get it. It takes a lot of work, but I'll be willing to help you any way I can. If you don't have somebody to help you, I'm by your side. I'm here. So hang in there. You got this. Continue on that journey. Keep walking down that road. And you may be broken, just a little bit or a lot, but you're not done. You're watching this video. That tells me that you are ready to go on. You are ready to move forward. I'm here with you, man. We got this. All right, last segment today. And I just need to make it clear why I do what I do. I went through this for 4 years and continue to go through it. I'm not giving up. There's some issues in my life. They brought me down. But I am a walking testimony that you can overcome whatever issues are in your life. My story was absolutely not easy. One day I'll share that with you, but now it's not the right time. Here's what I'm gonna say though. There are 360 million people in the United States, roundabouts. And at least 10% of those are battling some sort of mental illness right now. That's 36 million people, 10%. So if there's 36 million people out there, send this to somebody. Tell them about it. Tell them about me. Tell them about a therapist. Tell them about whatever, anything. Just don't let it go and talk to somebody. Even if they don't show any symptoms or signs right now, if somebody hears this and says, listen, you are able to overcome this, you may have an issue, talk to somebody about it. Those people are going to thank you forever. I know I have a very strong support group, and I thank them almost every day. Again, I'm not going to tell you who, but I had a very strong support group. So that means that if you share this with 10 people, at least one of them is going to get something out of it. Maybe more. Maybe you got a whole family. I saw something the other day about this generational thing with the depression. That's a whole family. So my family has, well, my brother, sister's mom, that's 6 of us. 6 of us. So if the whole family, that's 6 people that can get something out of this. But it's not just something, this is life-changing. This is a decision. This is a whole change out of how your perspective is when it comes to life. And these things that I'm talking about aren't just, hey, maybe you should do this. No, these are things I know works. These are things that are in my life that I experience every single day. And you can too. Just send it, share it, get it out there, talk to somebody. Even if it's not me, do a bare minimum. Make sure you're getting therapy. That is the biggest change in my life, is talking to somebody, because they're trained not just to cool you down and make you feel better, but to walk you through this life. An unbiased opinion, somebody on the outside that has no gain out of helping you. And that's extremely important. I'm seeing that with my kids right now. They need a therapist because they need somebody on the outside, not just their mother and father, but somebody on the outside to say, you know, kids, let's talk about this. Let's figure this out. What's going on? All right, here's the way I see it. I may be wrong. Well, here's the way I see it. Next session, tell me about what happened. Oh, things went great. Or, man, things got worse. Whatever it is, you have an outside source, somebody to say, hey, listen, this is what I see. And let's try and figure this out together. Now, it takes a long time to trust people like that. My counselor, to get fully honest, took about a year. And to really trust him, it took a long time. I'm going to say that up front. But he is the best counselor I could have possibly gotten with, because he just explains things right down to the brain chemical and the electrical whatever. And I mean, this is the way I like it. I'm a kind of a Mercury type. So with that being said, get a therapist. Keep taking your medications. And follow me. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks, guys.